Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. Here we are, finally doing a live on this side of the country. This is our first live in Florida, and I am so excited. I've been looking forward to doing this. I have really missed our live hangout time together, and really excited for this opportunity just to hang out and to answer any questions you have, to chit chat, to share my thoughts and my ideas about anything that I'm working on, or projects for the channel, the direction of the channel, vinyl in general, you name it. It's an open book discussion. Whatever you guys want to talk about tonight, I just am excited to be able to do this once again. Rice Cooker, welcome in. Marcus, welcome in. Definitely smash that thumbs up on the way in. I would really appreciate it. I know. You know what, though? I'll be back for sure. Absolutely, we'll be back. I don't know if you guys ever experienced this, but my wife and I talk about this from time to time. But when I was like just starting out driving, when I got my driver's license, to me, 11 miles, 12 miles, 15 miles was a long distance. And going on a 10-mile drive was huge. And then as we grew up, and I ended up getting it. It ended up being kind of a family joke. I would end up getting a job on the opposite side of town as to where I lived. My kind of home turf expanded to where 50, 100 miles was nothing. And but as a 15, 16-year-old just starting out driving, those distances were so huge. And so I'm hoping that moving will be kind of like making the turf just a little bit bigger, so that whether I'm in Florida, whether I'm in California, whether I'm in Colorado, I can it won't be as big of a deal, and maybe you can do it more often. So still your neighbor, just a little bit further down the road. Absolutely thankful for each and every one of you, no matter where you're at. Gregory, welcome in. Manny in Germany, that is awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you're in the stream, Rice Cooker. That's great. What does my shirt say? It says Titanic. So one of my all too many nerdy hobbies. I love studying about history. Titanic history is one of my favorites. I've just been even before the movie, I was this is a weird hair thing I got going on. What is this? Sorry, guys. The end of the workday. Whatever hairdo I had earlier today is kind of devolved into whatever's got going on now. So yeah, I've been a fan of learning about different things, Titanic being one of them. And all the way back, I remember I had a Scholastic book about Titanic that I picked up at one of those Scholastic book fairs. Yeah. Weird Spins. Hi, happy you're. Where's my lovely place as you spend time? You'll come to enjoy a seasonal thing. Food and Wine Fest. Yeah, this isn't just a random move. And to everybody that's learning about it for the first time here, I'm sure it seems that way, but it's something my wife and I have really been planning for years and years. And the time was right that we could try it, and we're just like, let's go for it. Maybe we're only there a year, maybe we're there 5 years, maybe we stay. I don't know. It doesn't. The thing is, and I don't want to dwell too much on that. I don't want to always be talking about, it's got to be boring to people, but basically the drivers were Colorado. We're both natives to Colorado, so we're just bored of it. We've done everything so many times. Everything you do in Colorado. I mean, so the amount of different unique things to do is a bit more minimal compared to here. So we have a love for the ocean. We have a love for Disney. We have a love for all the variety of fun things to do, and the things we like to do back home, whether we hike, bike, whatever. I can't ski here, but I haven't skied much. I used to ski quite a bit when I was younger, but there's nothing that I will really miss in terms of things to do there. What I will miss is some family that's still there, and we'll definitely be going back throughout the year. Looking forward to that as well. And the snow, I'm ready for a break. I used to love it so much. Then I got to the point where I love it up until Christmas. And then I was like, a couple snowstorms right around Christmas and I'm good. Just painful and cold and miserable and windy. You can't do anything. Colorado activities, you really can't do them when it's snowing. I mean, you're just kind of housebound at that point. So anyway, we're just excited for the variety of new things. We've been here a ton all throughout the year, different times of the year over the years. So we're no strangers to the area for sure. In fact, last year we went on a trip all around Florida. We came and we went to all different cities with the specifically research. Well, focus just went weird. Specifically to research potential places. And there are still a few places that we haven't been to, but we've been to a few. Wow, the focus. Did you guys lose focus a second ago? Let me try to get this thing to refocus on something. Hello. How about back here? Can we focus back here? So here, what if I scoot back a little bit? Okay. That seems a little better. So I'm using a webcam. It's a good one, but it's still a webcam. So, and the lighting, I'm doing this at night and I haven't like this. This is just ambient light. There's like a light thing hanging up there and I've got some blue desk light things. And then I've got one of my monitors over here with a white screen just to kind of add some fill light, but I don't have like purpose like studio lights or anything. So webcams usually drop frames to sacrifice image quality or brightness. So anyway, don't know why I went into that diatribe there, but there you go. What genre do you collect in vinyl? Says Gregory. Great question. I listen to so much music. I listen to everything you can imagine. There isn't a genre that I don't listen to. I listen to country. I listen to classical. I listen to hip hop. I listen to R&B. I listen to blues. I listen to jazz. I listen to pop. I do listen to rock. That's probably the least common thing. I'm not a metalhead. I'm not listening to, although I went through a phase. You guys might be really surprised. I went through this phase where I was really listening to a lot of heavy metal stuff that you would probably be surprised about, but I did it. I listened to it, and I've gone into why I stopped, and that's a whole thing. But I do have some rock music, not much, pop music, big band music, vintage music, spoken word records. I collected all. So as you can imagine, the record collection is too big. Now, as you see my eyes sort of drift off this way, it's because I'm looking at crates. And you can see the edge of one right here. Specialty things that I'm looking for always. I'm collecting Glenn Miller records. I've got a very meaningful Glenn Miller collection. I'm not going to say it's huge because I'm sure there's people with larger Glenn Miller collections, but it's one of my favorites. Patsy Cline records. Last year, I started collecting Peggy Lee records. So I've got actually more Peggy Lee now than Patsy Cline. Jackie Gleason records. It's kind of strange. I literally have a Jackie Gleason section, but I love music. I just love sound. I love it all. And I can literally listen to Beastie Boys 1 minute and then Beethoven the next minute. And then, something completely different. What is up with the focus? I apologize. It's a low light thing, I think, going on here. Why are we doing the weird focus? I apologize for the focus, you guys. Yeah, it keeps trying to lock in. I wonder. What can I do? Can I actually go in? You can manually lock focus on these cameras. I don't know if it's going to give me the chance to do it. I don't know. I'm sorry about that in advance. I'm getting more into the Patsy and Frank Sinatra. That's awesome. Yeah, Sinatra. Can't go wrong. Love Frank Sinatra. A couple of years ago, I had a vinyl New Year's, what is it called when you have like a New Year's resolution? Things that were not important that I wanted to focus on, like in my vinyl collecting. And it was trying to get more Bing Crosby. It was obviously a major inspiration to Frank Sinatra and others. And I did most of it in one fell swoop. I actually came across somebody who was giving away a stack of 78s, and they were, rough. They were stacked on each other without sleeves. A lot of them were in decent condition. And it turns out that there was a ton of Bing Crosby in there. So I got quite a bit of 78s. And one of the reasons why I picked up the Pioneer was so that we can do more with 78s in a way that was hooked up to the hi-fi and not just portable. And I don't know if anybody's asked this question yet. What happened to all my record players? I had a ridiculous amount of record players, and I sold quite a few. I donated a lot, and I gave record players to anybody that I knew that, needed one in my family or friends, and my kids' friends and family. Please, no more. Please, no more. We don't want any more. My dad's like, it's just too many. There's too many. Please, no more. We love you, but no more. Anyway, that being said, I still have a ton. And so we will definitely be featuring a lot of record players on the channel, new record players. I've already got deals in the works to review multiple new record players from companies. So it's just going to keep coming. More record player reviews, more record reviews. I've got something very special planned for you this weekend. It is going to feature a celebrity guest on the channel, and I am very excited about that. Bossa Nova, French music. I love Bossa Nova. I love Brazilian music too. Marcus says, I am hating the snow right now. It was 60 degrees one day and the next 7. Yeah, I know. And it's been following the weather back home, and it's 20 degrees and stuff. Meanwhile, here it's like been 90 lately. So it's so hot, so humid. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Palm trees everywhere. I'm really enjoying it. It's great. Eric, so glad you made it to a live. That's awesome. John, absolutely. It's a blessing. Very thankful to be here. 8-Track FM. Howdy doody, Mr. Record-ology. Jaden's VHS archive. Broke my needle beetle. Needle beetle? Hopefully you can find a replacement for your needle beetle. Multitasking. Think I just glanced at Rice Krispies record. Love it. Yeah, this was... I was trying to just put together a quick thumbnail, and so I grabbed the first record I could find was this guy. We've had it on the show before. It was a cereal record, but not a cereal box record. It was one you had to mail away for. And I was using it again to try and get the camera to focus because it's been the light's kind of low and it's been losing focus. This is a work in progress, by the way. I'm going to put something back here so it's not just a blank wall. My wife's like, you really need to put something there. Because people don't want to look at a blank wall. I don't know what to do though. The way I've got this set up right here, I'm kind of in the corner of the cubby of this room, and I want to make sure that, it can't be too deep. You know what I mean? Like it needs to be pretty flat on the wall, whatever it is. I can't put like a bookcase back there. Eric is a metalhead. That's awesome, dude. Gregory, baby metalhead. Disney record. Yes, I have a ton of Disney records. Love it. Low budget horror soundtracks, progressive, jazz, huge love for picture discs. Oh, me too. Colored vinyl, cereal box records, unique stuff. And I have a ton of weird, unique records. By the way, if you are new here and you haven't done so already, go back to, I guess it was October, November. We went out to Houston and got a private tour of Kurt Knox, Fort Knox, as he calls it. And it's Naucks, Knock. And he obviously does 78rpm.com, does the auctions. We got a private tour. It's a 2-part episode. You're going to see some crazy, rare, one-of-a-kind record stuff. And he even gifted us an amazing, amazing, rare, something I never knew existed, record thing, and we also featured that as well. So go back and watch that if you haven't done so already. It was a treat. I can't wait to go back. The best part was I didn't know what I was getting involved with, because my wife coordinated it. She's like, hey, we're going to go visit with this guy who has 78 collection of 78 RPM records. And we're like, great. No idea about it. I knew of 78rpm.com, but I wasn't connecting the two. So I thought we were just going into some guy's like private, basement collection without realizing what I was walking into. It's called Fort Knox for a reason. And let's just say this. The building has no sign on it, no windows. It is very undercover for a good reason if people only knew what's in there. Hopefully I've piqued your interest. If so, go check that out. I think I called the shows the Willy Wonka of Records, Part 1 and Part 2. That was back October, November-ish. Adam, welcome in. Weird Spins. Really like technical extreme stuff. What is a low-budget horror soundtrack you recommend at Weird Spins? Absolutely. Rice Cooker. Trying to collect the Apple Records solo collection. So far I have Wonderwall, George Harrison, and Jackie Lomax. That's cool. I picked up, so I posted a short today of a trip to a record shop we did. We went out to the East Coast and this past weekend, and I went to 2 record shops, and it was a blast. And the record shops smell different out here. They have a completely different smell. So in Colorado, you go into a record shop, it kind of has a dusty smell, kind of an old smell, old paper smell, if that makes any sense. But when you come out here and you go into a vinyl shop, it has that, but there's this added moisture smell. It's like a wet, dusty smell. It's like a musty smell. The best thing I can compare it to is if you've been to Disney World or Disneyland, the smell of water, they call it, which apparently is the bromide they put in the water as a cleaning agent. Instead of chlorine, they put bromide in. Anyway, if you go on like Pirates or you go on any kind of boat ride, this especially indoor boat ride, they have this is smell, water smell. It's like a Disney water smell that if you know, and it's strangely good. Anyway, the record shop smelled like that. I was like, what? This is so weird. It was very strange. It was fun. But we went to 2 record shops this weekend. I posted a short today of one of them, and I will in the next couple of days of the other one. Did pick up some records. I was surprised at what I found. I found a couple things I didn't even know existed, and some pretty unique stuff as well. As always, and very on brand for this channel, the price was really, really good. So I will do a haul video on that as well. Let's see, what is it, Tuesday? I'll probably do that before the weekend. I'll probably do that haul video around Friday, and maybe tomorrow or Thursday I'll post the video of the other shop, because we got to get ready for our big celebrity guest appearance this weekend. And it's something that I've been planning for months, actually over a year. I've been planning it, and it really got going in the last several weeks and months. I was able to make contact. I was able to work with this person, and they were very happy to do it. And I just cannot wait. And it ties into vinyl very nicely. And it's like nothing you've ever seen on any other vinyl channel. Not the first time Record-ology has done. We have a lot of firsts on this channel. We have a lot of firsts. There's many, many record players that we were the first to review on anywhere on YouTube. The first to take you to a lot of different places and things. So this will go along with that. I'm very excited. Hopefully that's sounds like an interesting thing, and I hope that you all enjoy that show this weekend. Oh, Adam, trying to collect Dolly Parton and Johnny Cash. That's an interesting collection. Dolly Parton, I started getting interested in Dolly Parton music last year. I do have a couple. I've got the Christmas album she did in 2021. And I've got it on CD, and I've got it on vinyl. I've got the regular edition. I don't have the extended edition. I picked up Run, Rose, Run, and I picked up a couple greatest hits things. And oh yeah, and the Christmas album with her and Kenny Rogers. By the way, if you want to have your mind blown, if you know the song um, "Islands in the Stream," famous song that Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton did together. I was either on TikTok or YouTube today. I was just flipping through shorts, and I saw a video of Jimmy Fallon, who was also on the Dolly Parton Christmas album, singing fantastically. But Dolly Parton, or no, so it was Jimmy Fallon as Kenny Rogers and Miley Cyrus as Dolly Parton, who's her goddaughter, something like that. Anyway, they're very close, the two of them. Anyway, so it's Miley Cyrus as Dolly Parton and Jimmy Fallon as Kenny Rogers singing "Islands in the Stream." It's surprising, and I will say this: Jimmy Fallon as Kenny Rogers, he has the voice down to a T. It's disturbingly accurate. Very strange. Very good. But yeah, Dolly Parton music. I'd like to find more. What I'm finding with Dolly Parton is I feel like I'm a greatest hits fan, and I use that term to describe my fandom of different artists. Like, I don't think I'm going to go deep dive on Dolly Parton like I have with Patsy Cline. My wife is probably relieved. She's like, "Oh, thank God, one less collection that we have to." So I like the greatest hit stuff. I like the stuff that she was most famous for. I really, really love it. And it's the same way I feel about the Beatles. I'm a greatest hits Beatles fan, and other artists too that other people may go deep dive on. But for me, Dolly Parton collection will probably be not too huge. That being said, I would like to get the latest greatest hits album that came out, Diamonds and Rhinestones, I think is what it's called. And there's like a Walmart exclusive color edition, and I think it's like clear or maybe blue or something. I would like to have that on vinyl. But that's cool. That's really cool. Johnny Cash. Can't go wrong with Johnny Cash. Absolutely. I've got, if you haven't seen it already, Adam, a couple of years ago, we did a bunch of stuff on 3-inch records. And among those 3-inch records was a collection of Sun records featuring Johnny Cash and others. Do I have any rare vinyl to give away here? We will be doing giveaways. Absolutely. We did a lot of vinyl giveaways in the last few months. We gave away a bunch of new records. We gave away some Beatles, new vinyl. We gave away, oh gosh, I think we gave away CCR, Beach Boys, all kinds of stuff that people would really like. We basically went to Walmart and bought a bunch of Walmart exclusives and then just gave those away to folks. And that was a lot of fun. If you haven't been here, we also are the giveaway channel. No other YouTube channel gives away as much stuff as we do, not just records, but record players as well. There goes the focus again. We've given away many record players, and hope to continue to do that stuff if people want it. I mean, you want to do what you guys like. If you don't like free stuff, then you don't have to have it. I'm trying to trip this focus out again. Come on, camera. Come on. It like snaps into focus. Come on. Why does the record look in focus, but I don't? That's very strange. Wait, lean back. I lean forward. Gosh, that is so annoying. Focus. Okay. I just work here. I don't know. Hey, Scott. It is great. There's a focus. Love it. Absolutely beautiful, warm, everything that we know it is, and just thankful to have the opportunity to be here for this phase in our life. And I don't know how long we'll be here. We could be here indefinitely. We could be here a year or 2 or 10. I don't know. Do videos about the Columbia phonograph, about the history of the Columbia phonograph. I have some Columbia, or had, I don't know if I still have them, some Columbia phonograph, old school, like the green label Columbia 78 discs. Need to do more of that. Eric, okay, so you collect a lot of stuff besides metal. Yeah, I mean, I think most people probably listen to a variety of music. Yeah, Ron, the move went well. We used pods, and that was a very interesting moving experience because it's spread out. You can spread it out up to a month. So rather than have this hellish moving day where the U-Haul shows up and You're just going insane with a 15-hour day. The pod gets delivered. You got like as long as you want, you can have a week or two to load it. Then they come and pick it up, take it to where you're moving, and then you got as much time as you want on the other end. There's no rush, which is really nice. But as my wife was saying earlier, it can kind of make it feel like it's dragged out, the move, a bit. But for me, I thought it was better because it felt less stressful, and you weren't hinging on a singular move date. But yeah, coordinating a cross-country move, again, kudos to my wife. She managed it all. It was a lot of moving pieces and parts, and it went very, very well. We're situated. We still have a few boxes here and there, but considering that we've only been here now a couple of weeks, I think a few weeks anyway, it's gone remarkably well. Unique records are always fun, says Adam. Absolutely. One-offs, error pressings, unique pressings, signed records, lathe cut records. We have a few one-of-a-kind records. We need to get back on the show. Gregory says Knock has an auction live right now. Yes, he does. And I poked around in the online catalog. I got a copy of the print catalog for the last one. So I could part with so much money so easily on that if I only had the money to part with. I better stay out of that. Although I will say this, I don't feel like there is as much antique stores and thrift stores down here compared to Colorado. And a lot of people back east, now that I am here east, not back east, have told me that the thrift world on the East Coast is a different world. So, and maybe they're more few and far between. I'm not sure. So maybe I'll be doing more online shopping. I used to buy almost everything in person. Whether it be record players or records. I used to not order on records online hardly ever. Maybe that'll change. We're still going to have content, so we're still going to be needing stuff. But yeah. Gregory's in San Antonio, so Houston is fun to visit. San Antonio is a beautiful city. We went up in the tower. We went down to the Riverwalk. Absolutely gorgeous area. Adam says, nobody caved in box. Yeah, I did. Go watch our video about the move. It came close to touching the vinyl. I don't think it did. Now I'm obsessing over every warp I see in any record. Like, was that there before? I don't know if that was there before. I don't think that record had a warp before. Did it have a warp? Maybe it did. I don't know. Every record now that's imperfect, I'm gonna probably blame on the or wonder, at least in the back of my mind. Was it because of the move? Record shops here in Vienna. Okay, that's like a library. RT85 has been doing good. Love it. Scott says, hello, fellow Floridian. Yes. Do I have everything unpacked? Not quite. We're getting there. You listen to Christmas records all year long, right? Absolutely. In fact, it's right front here because I listened to it today. Jackie Gleason, Merry Christmas record. Which, the story of the Jackie Gleason Orchestra and music, by the way, he wasn't like musically inclined. He didn't write music. He didn't read music. He was a businessman and an actor, obviously. Was in the Glenn Miller, the original, one of the Orchestra Wives, Glenn Miller movie, I think 1942, with Glenn Miller and his orchestra in it. There's a little tie in there to Glenn Miller. Plus his band, the bands that he would assemble for Capitol to do these featured some Glenn Miller alumni and whatnot. But yeah, this is a great Christmas album. Just kind of like haunting ambient music. His whole thing was romantic music. Romantic ambient music. It's not like you're going to listen to a Jackie Gleason song and be like, oh yeah, I like that Jackie Gleason song and know the name of it. At least I don't. You're going to be like, oh, I just want some Jackie Gleason music on. And so he, I think he used the terminology, he described it as musical wallpaper, where it was sort of this ambient thing in the background to kind of lend an atmosphere. And it's great for that. So there's no vocals, there's no talking, there's no singing. It's just ambient music like 50s and 60s stringy big band swingy music that's fantastic for working. And if you're like just like like I've said before, I work at home, I play at home. This is obviously I am at home, but this is also where I work, so I listen to records too. And it's great to have in the background while you're working. Absolutely. By the way, if you guys have noticed ads going in right now, that's something new that YouTube is doing. So I'm not intentionally like trying to jab them in here or there. So I've noticed that happening with YouTube that I watch as well. I'm like, what? Adam says most of mine are singles. Coolest one I found is from Jolene by Dolly. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Jolene. I really need to stop singing. Found it at Dollywood. Oh, that is so cool. I need to get up to Dollywood. Absolutely. 8-Track FM. I came across a clip of that Miley and Fallon video. I agree. Definitely did a bang up job paying tribute to Kenny Rogers. He did. It's amazing. What's the Record-ology take on Discogs? I've never bought a record on Discogs. I use it as a resource for understanding when certain editions of things come out, similar to allmusic.com. I don't have any problem buying records on there. I just haven't done it yet. I've poked around and played with it a bit, but I just haven't done it yet. I need to. Dolly wrote, "I Will Always Love You," that Whitney Houston, covered. Yep, absolutely. Wow, Miles High. Probably can live on just the residuals from that one song. I did know that. I learned that when I was kind of learning more about her last year. Adam says, that's so cool. I love to have that Foo Fighters 3-inch record player from one of the last RSDSs. Yeah, it's weird. I've seen the 3-inch players. They were the first round sold out like crazy, and then they made 2 subsequent 3-inch record players. Crosley did, and I think that those didn't sell as well because you can still buy them here and there, which is weird. I've seen them in record shops. I don't have the Foo Fighters one. I've got the Mini Cruiser. I've got the RSD 2020, which is the clear one, I think, and then I've got the original one. Talking about Dolly, I have her Christmas album on 8-Track, got on Amazon. That's awesome. Yeah, I've been to Silver Dollar City in Branson a lot. Dollywood used to be like another Silver Dollar City. It's all part of the same parent company. They just chose to use her name and everything on the Eastern one. But they have a lot of similar rides and things like that. It's an amazing Silver Dollar City it's an amazing place. But yeah, I've seen those videos in Dollywood where she's on the parade and stuff. I'm like, that'd be insane. Yeah, especially during Christmas. Greens from Finland. My setup is 2-time Newmark TT 500s. Oh wow, you got a serious setup. That's awesome. Reggae, that's awesome. Folk music, 80s disco. That's really cool. Well, greetings from Finland. Greetings to Finland. Thank you for being here. Absolutely. That's really cool. I have very little luck thrifting in South Florida. Dang it. I do most online. And I guess that's what I'm going to have to do. Like I've looked at like Craigslist and there's like nothing out there. It's like, where's all this stuff? Like in Colorado, there was so much on Craigslist. There was like just dozens every day, like 40 different record players would show up. Come here and there's like 4 things listed a day. It's really strange. Have I ever tried buying new release 8-tracks via dead 8-track via dead media tapes or any other website? I have not. I know that it exists. I know of other people. I know like Techmoan has done it. I know about the Dolly Parton. There was like Dolly Parton 8-track too. I think you guys were just talking about that. Yeah, that was the one that they just came out with a few years ago. I have not done that though. It'd be kind of cool to do. We should do that. Do you collect film? I do want a projector so I can do a private screening of the movie Run Apocalypse, which is a Disney movie. Disney dishes. I do collect film. Also, something I started doing the last year or two. I ended up thinking I wasn't going to be able to do this, but I got all of my projectors down here. I've got a 16 millimeter silent projector. It's a Keystone, old school, like top reel, bottom reel kind of deal. I've got this, what is it, Shannon Dual 8 projector. Again, silent. I don't have any sound equipment for that. And then I've got an old school 50s, very metal standard 8 film projector and a bunch of films. Not like a ridiculous amount, but I've got a healthy amount of films. And even Three Stooges on 16 millimeter. I've got a bunch of like kid films, some Disney. Do I have Disney stuff? I don't know, but there's a quite a bit of film, and that's something that when last year when we had the membership program, we had an exclusive membership program. We did an extra show, and as a storyline or as a content throughput for that series of shows, we did all the projector reviews and the film reviews and things. So all of that exists. Those videos are still on YouTube. They are currently marked private, and I may at some point flip the switch on some of that content that was paid at one point and make it public. I'm not sure yet, but there's a good amount, like 9 months worth of weekly shows, and would like to show. I'll be showing the film and projector stuff regardless. But yeah, I need to get I want to get for 16 millimeter. I would trade the Keystone. It's just too. It's so old. It needs a bulb too. It's just so rickety and old. It works, but I would rather have something a little bit newer. I would love to have one of those Bell and Howell 16 millimeter sound film projectors that I remember from the 80s in school, with like the turquoise plastic, casing, because it has a big. Sorry, I'm gonna wipe my nose here. It has a big sentimental value to me, in addition to being a functional. They're kind of big though. They're kind of chunky. That's what I would like to replace my old Keystone with. Eric says, I can't do Christmas music aside of the holidays period. I know a lot of people are that way. Stephen Pretty, hi, welcome in. I'm sorry I'm behind on comments. As per the usual, that's just the way it is here. I'm always behind on comments. Hello from Chicago. How's the music world? Casey, Chicago 1. It's good. It's great. There was a period of time as everything got packed up and moved that I wasn't able to play records for a while, and it started hurting me. I was like, I have to play records. I'm back now to being able to listen daily. Got all the records are out, unpacked. I think I've, although I had a freak out moment today that I had lost my Patsy Cline collection, but I found it, which is the crates are a little out of order from what they were, and it was in a different place than I remember. But I got the music playing daily, and really thankful for the opportunity to do so. Steven has both of the 45 adapters. So glad, and I'm glad you mentioned that. As I speak, the 3D printer is printing an adapter because we are going to spin up production again. And if now you kind of put two and two together, some weeks before we announced we had moved to Florida, we had announced that our 45 adapters are going off sale for a period of time. And that's why, because we literally had to pack up the resin or whatever. We had to pack up the printer, and so we couldn't make them anymore. And the purple edition is now out of production. That may come back at some point. It may not. But we are going to be announcing a new exclusive color. So if you have the two, hopefully there'll be a third one that piques your interest. We are going to be releasing that color shortly, and I'm excited to do so. I think it's a really good looking one. So we'll have the orange one at all times, and then the alternate color will be coming in shorter periods. So stay tuned for that. I hope to get that sorted pretty soon. I was looking at the eBay store, and I thought I could just, because I put them off, like you can take the listing. You ever go to eBay and it says 135 units available kind of a thing? So you can put it in this mode where it functions more like a storefront than it does like a private eBay auction. And in so doing, you can also choose to take the item off sale or off the market. So I thought I could just flip it back, but you can't do that. I may have to create new listings. So I just need to get around to working on that. So if you are hankering for your very own Record-ology 45 adapter, or you're hankering for your very own new edition new limited edition one. Stay tuned. I hope to have that done soon. Other things need to get done. We're going to get the post office box situated and socialized. If you haven't heard the message yet, please don't send anything to the old PO box. I will be having a new one to share with you. And at that point, I really look forward to anything you guys want to send. You guys are always so generous sending records and even record players, including, you can just see the corner of it down here, this SLDL1 Technics that we got just before the move. This beautiful turntable, you guys, was sent to me by a viewer. An incredible gift. An incredible gift. Perfect condition, direct drive, linear turntable. Absolutely thankful. So we'll have that address to share shortly, and thank you in advance. Adam says, I find film is hard to store and keep. There's many artifacts. But yeah, absolutely. Just got Jingle Bell Fun, Disney, pretty thing, red vinyl, some character labels. That's funny. That's awesome. Did you buy any Columbia quadraphonic LPs? I may have one or two. Got any Beatles records? I'd love to know. Yes. Do I? I've got Beatles 8-tracks. I got Beatles CDs. Surely I have some vinyl. I had at one point, before I collected vinyl, back when I had records before I was into vinyl, I had a collection of Elvis and Beatles LPs. It was the standard stuff. I mean, I had like the White Album and things, the common version. I don't know what happened to those. I want to get some more. Again, I'm a greatest hits kind of Beatles fan. I have the number ones CD. All my favorite songs are on that CD, so I don't need to get any more CDs of the Beatles because that has it all. Unless there was something new I discovered that I liked. But every song that I need to have of the Beatles, I have on that one disc. Some artists, I'm just that way with. I'm just a great. You can't be a super fanatic of everybody, right? Although there's many that I am. Dan says, hi, Dan from Prescott Valley. I do enjoy your posts. I have the Jackie Gleason Martinis album. I love it. Reminds me of the Carson's Tonight Show era. That's like one of the first ones, I think. I've got a couple versions of it. I think I got a 10-inch version and I've got the 12-inch version. Yeah, here's the version. Here's the double album version. I think this is the one you're talking about. This one up here. Yeah, this is a double. The first two albums, I think, of Jackie Gleason's. Yeah, it's totally like that swinging Rat Pack era, Johnny Carson, 50s, 60s big band sound, brassy with strings. Has like an echo. He was in the throes of the echo craze, the fake stereo, reprocessed stereo sound. Great music. Absolutely. Adam says, gotta go, gotta check and tend to my chickens. Okay, Adam, don't forsake those chickens. I do have a collection of, I forgot about that. I've got a decent sized collection of 35 millimeter Hollywood motion picture film trailers. A few Beatles records, my collection. Jackie Gleason CDs. I have one. I've got like a For Lovers Only triple CD set. That's actually how I discovered I liked the music. I was like, wait a minute, this is really, really good music. Rice Cooker says, my record store is like a second home. It's always got something for me. It's a small store, but in my opinion, it allows for easier conversation. So if you remember, if you watched my short that I put up today of going to, what was that place called? Retro. What was it? Beachside Retro is the store I went to first. Very like a lot of stuff hanging on the walls and music and all this stuff going on. It was loud. It was like a typical private record shop. It was cool. It was fun. Then we went to another place later, and that will be the next short that I post. Totally different vibe. totally different vibe, but equally cool. And ended up finding I asked the guy, I'm like, do you have a computer system you can look up to see if you have a certain artist? He's like, well, just tell me what it is. I know what I have. I was like, really? And he knew what he had. It was crazy. It was a different experience. Nothing hanging on the wall. There was no music playing. It was dead silent. It was actually kind of a nice change. Oh, on various lounge CDs, yeah. I've been picking up TV shows on 16 millimeter. I'm up to 6 MASH episodes. That's awesome. Oh, my son wants a new diaper. Buy from Germany, fellas. Priorities, right? The diapers and the chickens come first. Absolutely. What was I going to say? You kind of threw me for a loop on that one. Oh, speaking of the vintage TV, I have been on this strange kick of classic 1966 Batman. I love it. I'm not a superhero person by any means. I went through a little phase as a teenager. I collected literally like 4 or 5 like Superman, Batman comic books, and that was it. My dad and I bond over the vintage 60s stuff and Batman. I love the classic Batman and the humor in it, which I never got as a kid watching them with my dad. I just thought, yeah, it was a very 60s show. And, you know, it's very campy, as they say, but the humor cracks me up now. I find it funny. I guess dad humor, it's like dad joke humor. And I guess that's why, because I'm a dad and that's what I like. But there's this one, I saw this clip today and I get the little clips on TikTok too. But there's this one where Robin gets knocked off a building and everything is named the bat this, the bat that. Well, they throw the bat rope down. It's got like a metal piece shaped like a bat, of course. And Batman's like, Robin, grab it with your teeth. And he's like, he grabs onto this thing, and then Batman hoists him back up. And meanwhile, what's his name? Robin is just biting onto this thing because his hands are tied behind his back. And he's being lifted up by his teeth. And he gets to the top, and he says, holy molars, Batman. He always had the holy whatever. Thank goodness they take care of my teeth. And Adam West as Batman deadpans this line. He says, you owe your life to dental hygiene. Stuff like that. Just like these dad jokes crack me up. Anyway, you made me think of that when you mentioned TV shows. Film collecting, yeah, I'm sure that's pretty. There was some film stuff at that first record shop too. Didn't even get close. I try to avoid the things I know I can't afford to buy. It's like, you know, I could afford to buy it, but then it's like pretty soon all my money has been spent on things I don't need. Bell and Howell Filmo will need new worm drive, but they're nice projectors. Is that the kind that I was talking about earlier? See, and I don't want something that's going to just be a project either. I just picked up Patty Page on vinyl at my local Goodwill, just listening to it now. Oh, that's awesome, Jaden. Yeah, Patty Page. You know what's funny is 2 songs by Patty Page surprised me that they were by Patty Page. Old Cape Cod is my favorite Patty Page song. Very evocative, very evocative. It takes you to a time and a place. And the story about that song is amazing too. Like she had never been there when she recorded that. Now she's like this patron of old Cape Cod because of that. She brought in all this, responsible for all this tourism because of the song and all this stuff. And the other one was she sung what I thought was a Patsy Cline song and a Tennessee Waltz. And I remember thinking when I started listening to Patsy Cline, like, oh, she sang Tennessee Waltz. That's like her signature song. No, it's not. She did not sing that song. She never recorded it. There is recordings of radio performance of her singing that song where she actually misses the lyrics. But the song was a Patty Page song. That's right. Tennessee Waltz is a Patty Page song. So I do have a couple Patty Page records as well. It's good music. I like it. So that's a good find, Jaden. If you got like a greatest hits. Movie Spud. Hi from Missouri. Silver Dollar City is closing Fire in the Hole. I know it. They are closing Fire in the Hole, and I'm heartbroken about it. That is an amazing ride. And the story of the Bald Knobbers vigilante group of the Ozarks. Fascinating history. And one time I asked the guy, my family was there, and I wrote a letter to the management and said, I know this is out there, but is there any way I can get a behind the scenes tour of Fire in the Hole? I would love to walk around the sets and see things and get a backstage tour. And the guy actually got a letter back. It went to their corporate, which isn't in Branson. It was like, what's the family that runs it, the company? Oh, shoot. I know it very well. I just can't think of it right now. But Hershey Family Entertainment. They sent it back to the local guy, and he's like, hey, I heard you're interested in this. I can't let you walk through the backstage area. However, I will take you on a personally guided front row seat, lights on ride and point out all the history to it. So I sat in the front row of Fire in the Hole. And if you don't know what Fire in the Hole is, it's this amazing roller coaster in the dark. It's not the slickest thing you've ever seen. The story is of a local vigilante group called the Bald Knobbers. And they have the same ride system, the same ride with a different theme. It's just a fireman overlay theme in Dollywood. But the one in Branson was Fire in the Hole. Anyway, we sat in the front row. My family was in the back. We actually got to commandeer a train or one of the train cars, the roller coaster train cars. We cut to the front of the line. The guy sat there with me. They flipped the lights on and pointed out everything. And there was secret rooms, and this track used to go over here. There used to be a whole scene, and now it comes back here, and we don't have this anymore. And some kid got his head chopped off once when that went through there, which is a true story. All these things, the history and all this stuff. And it was I'll never forget that. Never forget that. So yeah, it's a major bummer, major bummer. And there was things when we were driving cross country down to Florida that we wanted to do. And that was one of them, was swing by. Branson just wasn't on the route though. Wasn't on the route. We had toyed with the idea of driving down south and coming a different route that would have been longer, but we had animals with us because we got our dog, our bird, and didn't want to be in the car any longer with a dog that doesn't like riding in the car. Than necessary, I should say. So yes, I have absolutely heard about that, and I'm bummed. I guess it's at the end of this season. I hope I can get up there beforehand, but if not, I got a lot of great memories. I've made a lot of sound recordings on that because the audio that you experience, not just the soundtrack, but the actual sound of things it's ingrained in me as something that I cherish. My family started going to Branson when I was 15. And when I got married, I introduced my wife to that area, which we end up finding out later that her family was actually, we had some family that were from Missouri as well. Anyway, but being on that ride, the feeling, the smells, the sounds, I'll never forget it. And I'm very, very bummed that they are doing that. I have 6 record players. One is a 50s Alice in Wonderland record player. If ever in Missouri, stop by the Record Barn. I will do that. Casey Chicago got a vintage Sears stereo off eBay. That's cool. If it's Sears, it was probably made by Sanyo. If anything like their tape decks. That 70 Sears stereo system off eBay is 8-track that you can record music off LPs. That's awesome. Be cool if you could figure out how to make your own 8-track cartridges. We did experiment with that a bit. We had some recordable 8-track stuff. Didn't have the best of luck with it. I don't really like 8-tracks still. I have that really cool TNT Panasonic, which works with the modification I had to make to it because one of the guide wheels broke. I still have the Realistic. Is it Realistic? No, Sound Design. I have a Sound Design cheap play-only deck there. And I trimmed down my 8-track collection before I moved. I kept about half of my 8-tracks as I didn't need all of them. There was a lot of stuff I would never listen to. It was either stuff I got as a collection or, stuff that came with other tapes that I didn't need. So I kept the most important ones. But I'm just not going to be a huge 8-track guy, probably. I wouldn't have even done it if it weren't for you guys. You guys got me into it. And I enjoyed learning and I enjoyed experimenting with it, but they truly are a pain in the butt. Everything you've heard about them is right, except that they sound terrible all the time. They don't. They can sound really good. 1/4-inch tape, 3 3/4 inches per second. Because there's 8 tracks instead of 4 on the 1/4-inch tape, you only get the same real estate that you do with a compact cassette. But at the same time, with the right equipment and tapes that haven't been baked in the sun, you can get good sound out of them. This one probably needs caps. It's sounding muddy, even though I've got it's trimmed up as high treble as I can get it. Yeah, okay. Didn't get a notification, but I'm here now. Mr. Londell's Groovy Movies. I've given up on wondering why YouTube doesn't serve out notifications, right? People sometimes that are even have the bell notification selected don't get the notifications, and it's just really strange. Gary says, can you recommend a good 7-inch reel-to-reel recorder? My dad's that was given to me finally wore out. It was a 1960s Sony. So Gary, my favorite reel-to-reel is my Akai GX4000D. I think that's what it is. It's an early 80s 7-inch reel-to-reel. It does 7 inches per second, 3 3/4. I don't think this one does 1 7/8, but it does the 2 speeds. It doesn't do 15 IPS. We have reviewed an Akai that did that, but it was one of the big Rogers style ones with the separate amps for each channel. It was a boat anchor. I think it was too heavy. It needed work. I didn't want to deal with it. Got rid of it. Got it into the hands of somebody who wanted a project. So for me, I've had really good luck with this Akai GX4000. The thing with reel-to-reels is you got to take them one by one. You can't say, oh yeah, I just love this maker, this model, because everyone has been through something different. The next guy that comes across one of these may find it's a piece of crap. Or the next guy that comes across something I didn't like may love it if they found a different one. It's just been through different things. The belts can be deteriorated. The belts are in different conditions. By the way, I'm looking forward to all of my belts corroding faster in the humidity down here. In the Mile High City, we didn't really have that problem because belts would last forever. They wouldn't decompose because there was very little corrosive action in dry, arid climate that we had up there. But now that we have a resting humidity of like 53% here, belts will stretch, things will wear out probably more often and whatnot. So my recommendation, Gary, is to take each one as it comes. A lot of people love TIAC. I love Sony as well. Did I sell that thing? I don't even know what I did with that thing. I did sell that. I had a really good, that was a whole ordeal. That was a whole story arc on this channel. I had this, I always called it a Magnavox, but was it Memorex? No, it was Magnavox. Was it? I think it was Magnavox, made by Panasonic. Somebody gave it to me. I was going over to the guy's house to buy it for like $30. And he's like, you know what? It was like right in the height of the pandemic. And he's like, you know what? Just take it. I don't want to deal with people. I was like, okay. And it had some tapes on it, but it had like an inch of dust. It was apparently from a high smoker household because it smelled like tobacco for years. It took me so long to fumigate that thing with baking soda, every kind of trick in the book, leaving it out in the cold air overnight, taking it apart, cleaning everything. But that deck was fantastic. And that was from 1968. It had original belts, everything. Once I cleaned it up, it was filthy, absolutely disgustingly filthy. But once I cleaned it up, it was solid. It was really solid. It was a nice, small, portable thing. But then I got this Elite on this GX4000 Akai, which is a remake of one of their older. They had a early 70s. Was it a GX4000? And then this is the GX4000D. But I love it. It's got glass ferrite heads, so the super strong heads. It's just a beautiful deck. It's gorgeous to look at, but it's bigger, it's bulkier. Actually, I just ordered a stand for it because what I got going on down here right now is not cutting it. So my recommendation is take them as they come. You should be able to pay less than $100 for a good working 7-inch reel-to-reel deck. I would, and if you have the opportunity to test it or at least ask questions about if there's any issues with it, because the biggest issue I would think besides belts going bad would be if you've got the potential issues of capacitors going out and things of that nature. Check the heads that they're not worn. It's amazing how much a worn head can ruin everything. You can have a great deck with, good belts, good capacitors, cosmetically good, a good brand, a good make, a good model, but the head is worn out and the sound will be poor in comparison. Case in point, if you go back on my channel and you search for a video, I think it was called Battle of the Japanese Giants. And I put that 1968 Memorex, did a direct feed sound test with a 1968 Sears, which was again made by, Sears, that was made by Sanyo. So I said earlier that Sears would be Panasonic. No, the Memorex was made by Panasonic, and the Sears was made by Sanyo. Anyhow, I went and did a direct feed sound test, and surprisingly, the cheaper deck, the Sears, sounded crisper and sharper. And if you looked at the heads, you could see it was the worn out, how it was kind of smeary, and like the line, it didn't look clear. It looked like it had just been smeared off and wiped over by tape traveling over it for so many millions of times that it just wore the head out and it lost fidelity because of that. So you're not going to know how many hours are on a tape deck, but a good rule of thumb is just look at it. Does the head look good? Does it look worn out? You can tell by looking at it. Also, there's this thing called the fingernail test for a head, where if you just take your fingernail and gently slide your fingernail top to bottom over the head, if you feel ridges, if you feel your fingernail catching, like there's little ridges, that can sometimes indicate that the head is worn out. But if it's smooth, like glass, then that can indicate that it's in good condition. So there you go. Do I have any Blue Note records? I don't think so, but I've seen them before. Kyle, welcome in, my friend. I'm a huge Beatles fan, and I actually love their deep cuts. Oops. Come on. I'm so far behind comments. I'm so sorry. Number one wouldn't cut it for me. And there you go. Same thing for me and Patsy Cline. Like, a lot of people are like, yeah, greatest hits is fine. That's all I need. And for me, I need more Patsy Cline music. Jackie Gleason was with Capitol Records at one time. Yeah, most of these are Capitol. Almost all of these are Capitol. I love the earlier the better. The 50s ones. Oh, yeah, I heard, Kyle, you mentioned you got that for $30 from a thrift store. That's really cool. Joplin, Missouri. Route 66 goes through there. I know that because of the song. I think I've actually visited. I think I've been there before. Hello from Alberta, Canada, says Jaden. Do you have any Patty Page on vinyl? My favorite song, Cross Over the Bridge. Cross Over the Bridge. Yeah, that's a good one too. Okay, that's my third favorite. Tennessee Waltz, Old Cape Cod, Cross Over the Bridge. 3 good songs. Rice Cooker, I have a little more than 200 records. How many do you have? Too many. I found out I had way too many. I have never counted them. I don't even know. Love your chatty, natural approach in videos. Some people hate it. They're like, shut up. Just show the dang thing. Shut up. I've always had the gift of gab or the curse of gab. Whether the curse or a blessing, I talk too much. I can tell you that. I spent years in arts, but after decades of nothing, lost confidence. I made 6 now, getting better. Oh, man. Yeah, keep at it. Absolutely. Arts is tough because it's very personal, and at the same time, it's something that people feel that they have the right to judge on any level, and they'll be cruel, especially if they're hiding behind a browser doing it. So it's tough. You have to do it for you. Absolutely. Paul says, I'm hoping to pick up an original Star Trek on 16 millimeter. Oh, Paul, if you find that, I'm a huge Trekkie, let me know. I want to know about it. I want to see pictures and stuff. That's awesome. Oh, I appreciate that, Weird Spins. And I've put in some outtakes of myself before, but I blow it doing the intros so many times. I mean, I just go for it. I'm not embarrassed anymore to do the thing in public. Like we were trying to get some intros and outros lately. And my wife is like, do you want to do an intro here? And I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll do an intro. And she's like, there's people coming. I'm like, I don't even care anymore. I used to be like, my voice, if I was out in public, would be like, welcome back to Record-ology. Today we're at the store. And now I'm like, hey, everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. I just don't care. But it took me a while to get there. Also, just my demeanor on camera. This kind of, one of the viewers one time called it the loud, shouty salesman type. It's just kind of evolved. If you go back to my first shows, it was much more subdued. And I would say that off camera, I'm much more subdued than I come across on camera. But when I started doing the channel, it was, hi, welcome back to Record-ology. Today we're going to be looking at, X, Y, and Z and all this stuff. Now I would be kind of horsing around and funny, when I was very comfortable, not with my wife or my family or something, friends, but like in front of an audience, it took a long time before I could, kind of come out of my shell a little bit. In fact, sometimes my wife's like, why can't you be fun like you are at Record-ology in real life sometimes? Like, that's exhausting. I don't want to do that. Anybody that can take any positive inspiration for what we do here, I'm grateful for you. So, just keep at it. Don't care what other people think. That is huge. After Sven Gulu, they show Batman on MeTV. I haven't watched TV on a schedule, like where you sit down and watch TV at a certain time in a long time. When I watch TV, I'm actually logging into YouTube or Disney Plus or something. I've tried that Pluto app. Have you guys tried that Pluto app? It's like an app on your phone and you can watch TV, but you watch ads. But you can watch like any channel you want for free. And it's not like a scammy thing. It's like a legitimate thing. So if I could figure out what time it's on and be available during that time, I would try to do that. That's awesome. If you get a film on sound, make sure it's been serviced. Frisco Gaming, welcome in. Kyle says, I had a good week. I got a fairly odd parents tattoo and got a cranked up record player old Zenith radio. That is crazy. Jaden says, yeah, it was greatest hits. I have 2 normal everyday Patty Page vinyl and a few Christmas Patty Page records. That's cool. I think I have a Christmas one. I think I've got a greatest hits and a Christmas one. Gregory says, Fire in the Hole was exhilarating and terrifying as a kid. It even smelled like fire and burnt wood. It did. Paul says, I like my film sound, but I use my Kodak pageant more often. Scott says, gotta go. I have hit the hay. Back to work tomorrow. Thank you so much, Scott. I'm sure you're gone by now, but thank you. Do I like Connie Francis? A couple of songs is pretty good. Yeah, she's got a good voice. A couple of her songs. Again, definitely greatest hits level fan. I know a lot of folks are huge fans. Batman ran on ABC from 66 to 68. Greenway Productions, 20th Century Fox. Yep, good stuff. And I've been watching HBO Plus has the movie, the 1966 film. They shot it between the first and second season. And it's great with the shark on the leg and stuff. And it's great. I love that stuff. And I have a Batman, like a 1966 Batman era record. I think it's a story on record. I need to do a show on that. How's that Pioneer going? Got some new carts for it. The Pioneer's great. I was listening to it today. The motor's dead silent. It is spot on accuracy. Right now I'm running the Ortofon OM5E, which I am rediscovering Ortofon cartridges, which I had sort of written off as just being kind of cold and not my kind of, doesn't have the warmth that I like. But this cartridge sounds pretty dang good. Having a little bit of issues with I'm using the built-in preamp on that. Built-in preamp is just perfect. It's working fine. It's a bit quieter than an external preamp would be, but it gets the job done. But if I'm switching from like the Technics, I'm running the Pluto 2 preamp. I'm having a little problem with the power supply to that. But if I have the volume set for the Technics and then I flip to this one, it's quieter. So I had to turn the volume up a couple notches, but it's great. I love it. Glad I bought it. I was watching a movie on a different stream. Hey, old radios, welcome in. Happy spinning from Iowa. I'm loving Florida. It's great. Absolutely. I bought new motor mounts for it. I just need to find. Yeah, the motors have a lot of those E-clips. I also made a Discogs page. That's cool. I need to get into it. I need to dive into that further because people say you can get really good deals and stuff. I have over 1,500 45s cataloged. Holy cow. My entire 45 collection is in one box and it's right here. It's like this many records. And I've got a bunch down. I've got more than that, but not 1,500, that's for sure. Was in public radio and TV, community theater. Wow. That's cool. Yeah, I worked in television and film for a number of years as well. Movie Spud, I enjoy your natural chatty nature also. I'm glad. I'm glad somebody does. Some of the mean comments are hilarious. That's so cool. I'm trying to listen to more 45s. I don't have my SLB5 set up yet. I'm hoping to put that over here on this side. I've got 3 turntables set up in here, and that's plenty. Got the PLX 500. I've got the SLDL1 down here, and then in the rack, I've got the SLBD 22 Technics. By the way, I shipped the rack, or I packed the rack. I just wrapped every component in plastic wrap and packed a bunch of clothes around the void spaces and then saran wrapped the heck out of it, and I shipped it as is. Worked like a charm. I've had nothing broken. Like nothing has got broken in the move. Surprised. Got Pluto on my PC. Oh, that's cool. Got a Pioneer deck that plays both 4 and 8-track tapes. I almost got one of those as well. Using Pluto to watch old Johnny Carson. That's cool. Pluto on streaming usually. That's cool. I think I've watched all of the episodes of my favorite channels on Pluto. Because they have like on demand and like broadcast at the same time, right? Finally filmed with my Bolex RX5. That's cool. Got a great page here on the network. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. KJ Chicago 1. Thank you so much. That's really nice. Till the next time. We'll see you next time. Pleased with the Audio Technica. Thanks for recommending it to play records another day. And Kyle, thank you for sending me that little record player. That thing is awesome. Close with 3,045. Wow. Going through my 45s. How many LPs do you have, Old Radios? I went through my 45s, decided to keep them. Jeremy Hobbs, moderator in the house. Just finishing up, Jeremy. Thank you so much. Just wanted to jump on and say we're settled in here in Florida and enjoying it. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I've got an early morning meeting, so I'm going to jump off and try to get some sleep here in a little bit. Are you ready for the humidity? Oh, yeah. Love it. Absolutely love it. Every time I've been down here, except for one trip, it's made easier to breathe. It's made, because I have asthma, it's made everything better, the allergies and everything. So, and like I said before, we've been down here every time during the year at some point. So we've been here in winter, we've been here in summer, we've been here in spring and fall. So yeah. Rice Cooker says, got a British Dusty Springfield single for $20. Wow. $2. Wow. Channels, Doctor Who, Mission Impossible. Speaking of Star Trek, I'm kind of pissed about Picard season 3 looking so cool, and my Trekkie friends telling me I'm not allowed to watch it yet until I get through Deep Space Nine and Voyager, because I feel like all this cool stuff is happening with the Trek world, and I'm behind. I finally got through. It took me a couple of years to get through Next Generation, which I loved. Oh, I'm up to speed on Mandalorian. Mandalorian season 3 is incredible, by the way, if you haven't seen it. All right, my friends, I got to go to bed. I'm tired. I love and appreciate you guys. Yeah, Old Radios do that. I'd love to see that. Thank you, everybody, for making time to be here with me tonight. We'll be doing more lives. We'll be doing giveaways. We'll have the 45s for sale again soon. We will have a P.O. box to share with you, and we'll be providing lots of cool content. Don't worry, you're never late. You just come here whenever it works for you is perfect. You can always watch the replay. Also, again, if you've joined since I mentioned it last, got a very special Record-ology coming up this weekend featuring a special celebrity guest star, a show that's been in the works for months, and I'm very excited to share it with you. And it's going to be a fun, very unique show focused on vinyl, but in a very, very unique way, featuring a very cool guest star. So, my friends, that's going to do it for tonight. So happy record hunting. We'll see you next time.